Good morning, it's Saturday, July 25th, and we're going to continue our discussion on action and duty with a prompt from the Daily Stoic which reads, where do I let work diminish my quality of life? So I'm sure that when Ryan Holiday first drafted that question back in 2017, the principal challenge that came to mind was finding a sustainable and appropriate work-life balance. Now, while that still holds true to some degree, here in 2020, one of the tests that we face is living at the intersection of work and life. Every day, every week, Monday through Friday. So for the 2 years before the pandemic began, I was already working from home. And to be fair, even that was an adjustment, as it took me a long time to find a working style which supported a high level of productivity. I also had to cope with and address the cabin fever that comes with working from home, even under more ideal conditions. But I'd figured it out and I'd made adjustments. And by January and February of this year, things were really clicking. I had found my groove. Then before I could get too comfortable, the Logos decided to mix things up for everyone. For me personally, I continued to work from home, but now instead of the very quiet, oversized office that I once enjoyed, it was filled with the sometimes playful, sometimes upset, but always loud voices of an energetic 5 and 3-year-old. My kids had to adjust as well, and I would suggest it's been harder for them in many ways because of their limited view of the world or the bigger picture. They got to see me working to an extent they'd never seen before, as it usually happened out of sight, out of mind while they were away at school. In fact, we asked one of them once what they thought that I did for work, and the response was that I play on my computer, I talk on the phone, and I go to Norway. To be honest, that really isn't that far off. So to them, since I'm not able to go to Norway or anywhere else for that matter in the foreseeable future, my style of work makes me seem like I should be accessible. And that's been one of the hardest parts for me as a father, being physically here but not present for them. It appears to them that they're being ignored, but the reality is that half of my brain is focused on making them lunch, while the other half is doing its best to listen in on some requisite conference call. It's a daily juggling act that we've all come to know. And as I mulled over this prompt, I thought about the things that I do and try to keep in mind to make living at this work-life intersection more hospitable for everyone. So number one, I get up every day hours before everyone else. Sometimes I have 4 hours of alone time before the party train gets started. And I use this time for self-care in the form of reading, writing, exercise, or oftentimes for work, as I deal a lot with the Eastern Hemisphere time zones. So my mornings are insanely productive, which gives me more flexibility later. Number two, because I've attended to myself already, I make it a point to spend time with the kids when I do have a break in my work. Now, admittedly, there is the temptation to do something self-serving and more mindless. But when I remind myself of the times that my daughter pleaded, "Daddy, will you play with me?" and I had to turn her down because of work, that's usually enough to kick my ass into gear. And number three, I attempt to shut work down for the day at 4 o'clock. Because I front load my day so much, this usually isn't a problem. And it gives me a chance to get started on prepping dinner or spending time playing with the kids. And then the computer stays off until they go back to bed, or they go to bed. So even with all these, this arrangement is far from perfect or optimized. It's about to get a lot more tested when virtual school kicks back in the fall. But we'll adjust, we'll find that work-life balance, we'll get more accustomed to living at the intersection of work and life. After all, for the foreseeable future, there really isn't much other option. So I'd love to hear what things work for you. I hope you have a great rest of your day. Talk soon. Bye.